TriCap offers many different programs that can benefit those who need the help. One we're going to talk about in this edition of WJTS in.form is weatherization. Joining us in the studio is Gervase Ebert. Now, Gervase is the TriCap Quality Control Inspector, but we're going to talk about weatherization. This is what you do having to do with weatherization.
Specifically for weatherization, yes.
Let's talk, first of all, what is this service that TriCap does called weatherization, and who's it for?
Okay, weatherization, we work with Department of Energy grant monies to supply a service to low-income people to try to reduce their utility costs each month. And so that's what it's geared toward. Okay. So we will come in and do energy-saving measures that we find efficient as far as cost efficiency, insulating attics, walls if they're not insulated, replacing an inefficient furnace if our computer program says it's got a savings investment ratio to it, things like that.
And really, you're doing the work for the folks that need it.
Yes,
it's not a whole lot that somebody has to do.
They have to sign some papers and fill out a few surveys for us so we can gather information to see how we're doing and what the needs are out there. So we do. That's pretty much it for them.
So let's go back to the beginning, and so that people have an idea of how this process works, because it is a process. Okay. This isn't something I can call you today and say, hey, I only make so much money and I need help. Come in tomorrow. That's not how it works.
No, it doesn't.
What's the first thing somebody should do?
They need to come into the office or call the office and they'll send it out to you. They need an Energy Assistance Program application, and that's also income-based. And our intake person there, Christy, will take that information once you fill out the application and supply things that she asks for, like a utility statement and things like that. Then she'll see what you qualify for as far as help to keep your heat on in the wintertime. That program is geared to pay your utility bill or help pay your utility bill in the wintertime so you don't go without heat. From that database, so to speak, which they've got the 3 counties that we serve, probably 1,400 homes in there, I pick out what I can do through the year, and I can only do about 40 of those homes a year, maybe something like that, depending on the funding that we get, because it's, like I said, we don't just come in and do a furnace or just come in and change a front door or something like that. We have to do from top to bottom the home if we come in to do weatherization. So we do health and safety measures on the home. If you have a crawl space, we always put a vapor barrier under there to begin with and seal it up to the walls and seal all the seams so you don't have moisture coming into the home. Because as we tighten the home up, a big concern is a mold creating, forming in your home. So we reduce any source of moisture that we can. In conjunction with that, we put what they call an ASHRAE fan in, which is a dual purpose type thing. It's usually a bathroom fan that's set to come on by itself so many minutes an hour, and it will take moisture out of the home. If we tighten the home up too much, our computer program again tells us what the rate is that it should have as far as drawing fresh air through the little cracks around your windows and doors and stuff from outside. But it does take the stale air out. If you have a smoker in the home, it'll give you fresh air. If you have moisture, it takes that out, and so that's type of health and safety issues that we deal with, and that goes along with we have to address those by our rules and guidelines, along with the energy saving measures, which could be putting a new furnace in, or we find a lot of the old furnaces have cracked heat exchangers, and that's a danger. So that's actually a health and safety issue that will change out. A lot of people will take their furnace and their water heater that's been put in years ago in a house and build a closet around it. Well, now they've virtually starved that furnace and that water heater from the oxygen that it needs to run properly and to draft properly. So we'll address those issues, too. So a big one that we do too, of course, it's a little thing, but it's the little thing sometimes we have to look for, is LED light bulbs. We love putting in LED light bulbs. When they first came out, they were like $32 a bulb. Now we can get them for about $2 a bulb. Makes it cost effective, and they save a lot of electricity, believe it or not, just on their own. We try to put aerators on the shower heads, faucets, so that they will spray out a little bit more and not just run, and stuff, and reduce. What that does is it reduces the water heater costs, to heat that water. So
that is a lot of things you're doing. And what's the cost to those who qualify?
the cost to those that qualify is nothing. I mean, there's no cost to them whatsoever. I mean, we do the initial inspection, we'll do all of the work, we'll send everybody out there. Once in a while we'll run into something like yesterday. We were in the process of working on a home. We found a little water drip underneath the house at a joint in the water line. We're going to get that fixed because we don't want that dripping on our plastic. So initially, if we'd have saw that before we ever started work, we may have said, well, you need to get that fixed before we come in. But since we're in the process of working and we can't leave it that way, we'll get a plumber in there to fix that today, and then we'll move on. So,
well, this is absolutely fantastic that you're able to provide this service for folks. And there's probably people that may qualify, don't even know they qualify.
and I tell you what, it goes by the number of people in your household, and I have a couple of different grants I work with, and so the income level might be a little different for one to the other. Okay. So you really need to, if you come into TriCap, they have what they call the green sheet, and it lists all the different programs that TriCap has, which I can't even name them all off and explain them, but it has income guidelines on the back of that sheet as to who qualifies and how many people in the household and so forth, and stuff. And so that would be a great deal of help to anyone, if they want to just stop in and pick up that. Or like I said, just call to the office if you can't get out there, and they'll mail you one. So.
When I'm thinking weatherization, I'm thinking two things. It's only for the elderly, and that means you're going to put insulation in. But it's so much more than that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we prioritize somewhat because I can do so few homes out of that big bunch. Of course, over the years, it adds up. I've been doing this for 10 years, and there's a lot of homes we've covered in that time. What we focus on first is people with what they call at risk, and that's with children under 6 years old, elderly people over 60, disabled people, if they have anyone in your household disabled, and veterans. And so that's what I try to focus on first. And then if someone has a high energy burden and our energy assistance person notices that, they will call my office back the hallway and they'll tell me, look, this looks like this person's paying out an awful lot in electric or gas or whatever, stuff. There's got to be something wrong with this home. You might want to look at it. And I love homes like that because we can make such a huge difference on those,
Are we talking like $5 a month difference? What are we talking about for savings for people? I know that probably depends.
Yeah, not. I mean, a lot more than $5. Now, some places we get into, and they have health and safety issues that I just can't ignore, and stuff. Mm-hmm. Our energy savings isn't going to be real big, but I say, man, we can't just let that home go. So I try to get in there anyway, and stuff. So their savings may not be as great. But I've seen savings on utility bills from one year to the next of 50 or 60%,
wow,
on their gas or electric bill,
It can really make a difference.
Oh yeah, people don't understand the physics or the behind energy savings, stuff. We get into a lot of homes, older homes, that have bulkheads or openings to the attic. A lot of them have an attic hatch, and virtually the hot air in their home, their warm air, is just shooting up through there like a chimney because it's not sealed well or it's not insulated whatsoever. They may have 12 inches of insulation in the attic, but nothing at all on that piece of drywall that closes that hatch up, So we find things like that, and we're trained to look for the little things, So.
And it all really starts with a visit to TriCap. And there are people probably who are already running through TriCap and already in the process that qualify, and maybe they need to find out more about it.
That's very true, and you're right about people not being aware of it, because I still run into people all the time that don't know there's that type of a program out there, or they don't think they qualify. The one I don't kind of have an issue with, sometimes I talk to people and they say, well, I don't want to take a handout, so to speak, but it's not a handout, it's a hand up, because I said, look, and they tell me about things that they're doing without, and stuff, but they can pay their utility bill. Well, okay, that's fine. Let me help you reduce your utility bill so you can use that money towards some of these things that you're not doing for yourself now. And so it frees up their money too, stuff. So
it helps in a very big way in that way.
Yes, it spreads. I mean, they talk about greenhouse gases, and we do get from time to time utility company money to spend on this weatherization program. And the reason for that is because it reduces the need then to generate more electricity, So it's a kind of a domino effect, like that, and it does. It's much more widespread. The benefits are much more than people realize sometimes.
Usually in the winter, that's the one time we think about our heating bills. But this is something that you're doing all year round, because it's not, they can't just call you today and you're going to come out tomorrow. This is a process that happens.
It is a process, so it does take time. And I do get a lot of calls, especially like they say the first frost or something like that, and stuff. And that's when people are concerned. But they knew their furnace wasn't working since last year. So that doesn't give me time enough to help them for this winter, maybe, and stuff. But I can get them in the system, so to speak. But like I said, I can only do a number each year. So some people, I actually be honest with them. I just tell them, I may never get to your home, and stuff. So, but I try to give them other resources and that they could help themselves if they're not in that high risk category, and stuff. Maybe they can get help from somewhere else, and stuff. And fortunately, the state has set aside a program last year and this year where we have what they call an emergency furnace repair fund. Well, repair or replace, whatever the need might be. Where if somebody is at risk and their furnace goes off on them in the wintertime, and a lot of these people live from week to week or month to month, and they don't have the money to spend on repairs and replacement and so forth, we can actually send somebody out there. We'll call them the next day and get somebody out there the day after that maybe, or something like that, to repair their heater or their furnace so they can have heat. So it's called an emergency repair replacement program. And fortunately, the state has seen that it takes us a long time, or a time to get to a home, plus the ones that we have to pass up for reasons like wet basements or leaky roofs or things like that, something that we can't really work with, So this is a chance for them to get heat back in their home where I couldn't do that otherwise.
So you're making homes better for people to live better and to save some money.
I believe so. Changing lives, making it better for them, more comfortable and safer, healthier. So that's a win-win.
All right, so weatherization is just one more thing that TriCap offers to people. And you talk to Gervase. He'll be glad to help you out.
Just give me a call.
All right.
Take them every
and
day.
It says improving lives since 1966, TriCap. What
Yes,
are the
sir.
3 counties that weatherization is available?
Our agency serves DuBois, Pike, and Warwick County.
Okay.
But every county in the state of Indiana has a CAP agency, a community action program, with this that offers the same thing.
Okay.
So whether you're in Evansville or Vanderbilt County or Vincennes or Washington or Bloomington, they all have the same opportunity there.
Okay. Well, Gervase, thank you very much for coming in and talking
Okay.
with us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Our guest has been Gervase Ebert. He is the TriCap Quality Control Inspector. That really is one that handles weatherization, something you should check out if you think you qualify and need that service. Gervase, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for watching 18 WJTS. We are local people watching local people.